We will begin our recognitions tonight with two amazing individuals who are receiving our first two Legacy Awards. We will now recognize two of these amazing people who have been the foundation of the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame since 1999. The Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame was created 26 years ago, and over that time, we have had many people join together to plan the calendar, manage the nomination and selection process, organize committees, and host our induction dinners. We have been fortunate to have stability at the Hall through the years because of these two people, two titans in Connecticut soccer, and we thank them for this. Tonight's two Legacy Award recipients have guided the Soccer Hall of Fame since the beginning. They've been presidents, committee chairpersons, officers, decision makers, fundraisers, organizers, overseers, and doers. And they have done these things over and over again for every event, making the Hall what it is today, a recognition and celebration of Connecticut soccer history. And while they have equally impressive accomplishments with their own programs, Avon Soccer and Farmington Soccer and CJSA and CSSA, could go on and on. Tonight they are receiving Legacy Awards specifically for their work with this organization. These two people have been stewards and trustees of our organization. Their principled, responsible guidance, their work ethic and task completion, their dedication and commitment, and mostly their love of the game and Connecticut soccer will be their legacy to the Hall. Quite possibly, the Hall would not be here today without their attention and commitment. The inscription on the Legacy Award sums up their work. It says, "In recognition and appreciation for your outstanding contributions to the growth, reputation, and integrity of the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame, your legacy will forever be part of the Hall." Before they come up to say a few words, please join me in recognizing and thanking the first two recipients of our Hall of Fame Legacy Awards, Al Bell and Pat Hennig. I invite Pat to come forward and say a few words.
Thanks very much, Bill, and the selection committee, and the CJSA staff, because without them, we'd be sitting probably double decked. They're very good at, organizing all the seating arrangements. I'd like to congratulate all of the other members of the Hall of Fame, past inductees, for all your accomplishments and for your dedication to this wonderful organization. And congratulations to Al Bell. It is unbelievable to me that I would be recognized along with Al, who is the most dedicated and truly caring person I have ever met for kids in the sport. That's why he is fondly known as Mr. Soccer, and well-deserving. And Al, if you're watching, thanks for the friendship. I would also like to congratulate this year's inductees. We're so lucky in a small state to have the level of players, referees, coaches, media, and administrators who are so committed and excel in the sport we love. They are true movers and shakers. I look forward to hearing your stories as the evening goes on. This is a very special night for the Hall of Fame. Our new chairman, President Bill Duffy, a longtime master of ceremonies, and Hall of Famer, is hosting us this evening after an 18-month battle or illness. I believe today marks the first time since August 2023 that he has been in a group of more than 10 or so. Through his perseverance, great medical care, God's blessing, love of his family and friends, we welcome you back and wish you the best of health. When Bill called me and told me that Al and I were selected to receive the first Legacy Awards, after almost fainting, I checked out the definition of legacy. I immediately knew that I picked number one, older than dirt. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. However, anything else was suspect. But thanks. When Joe Rosa, the brainchild of the Hall of Fame, invited me to a meeting in 1998 to establish the Hall, there was no way in the world that I ever thought that I would qualify to be inducted, much less now being presented with a new Legacy Award. The Hall was established to honor those who had excelled, worked tirelessly for the sport, made the path for future generations, fulfilling many soccer dreams, and also adequately really gave us the mission tonight of what the Hall of Fame is. We're all part of a big, giant tapestry. The men and women who have been installed have set high standards at local, national, and international levels. The bar is set very high. Just a little background, my induction to soccer began when my son Artie expressed interest in playing at 6 years of age, 49 years ago. His brother Bill, they're sitting over there dying, and I'm not that old, and his brother continued, and soon both were playing 12 months a year from 6 years old through college. Rick and Dave, you can attest to that. My husband and I had co-founded Avon Soccer Club so the boys would have a place to play when we moved to Avon. There was no soccer. This has been a love of my life since 1979, and I'd like to thank some members from the board and from Avon Soccer who are here tonight, Ruth and Dan Carvello, and Pat and Rich Rosine, and Scott and Tara Turkin, and Tim Kretz. Thank you very much for your dedication, as well as one of our treasurers, Steve Borkman, and his wife who filled in during an illness. So thank you very much, because without all of you, the Avon Soccer Along with Avon Soccer, I found myself immersed in CJSA and very quickly involved with the Soccer Federation. There were no women involved at administrative levels anywhere, or very few within the Federation, and none was in the state. So I think they decided, yeah, we have somebody, she's a female, she'll probably do secretarial work, and which I did, and I followed orders very well. But then, I was fortunate enough to help run a number of international games at Yale Bowl and New Britain Stadium, dotted with the privilege of serving on numerous Federation committees and as head of delegation for the women's under-19 national team and full national team when they traveled abroad, and that's quite an honor. It's a very exciting time. Also, during this time, CJSA hosted the '93 US-Brazil Cup game at Yale, and Steve Griggs is here and was an integral part of that. Thanks, Steve. At that game, Connecticut broke all Federation records. We were the first game ever to have a $1 million gate in U.S. soccer history. And beating out RFK Stadium, Soldier Field, any of the big stadiums within the country. So that was quite an accomplishment, and many people here were involved in that. This was followed by a 2-game series with our World Cup champions, the women's national team. It was right after they won the World Cup against Norway. And this was the very first time that the women's team would play in front of more than 100 attendees, and games that they played on their own, not tagged onto men's games. Up until then, they would always play before or after the men's national team, but this was the very first time. And Hank, I don't know whether you're watching now or at another time, but I had bugged Hank Steinbrecher, who is one of our inductees tonight, who was with the Federation Secretary General, to give us permission to televise the games, and nobody wanted to consider televising a women's game. But we finally got $20,000 for Sports Channel to do the highlights of one of the games and televise the second in its entirety, and that was a major coup. We ended up with 3,500 attendees in New Britain and 5,000 attendees at the second game, and that was another record, Connecticut, and Bill Duffy was very much a part of that. There are so many aspects of what I've been afforded to do. And when you love something, you don't think you should really get rewarded for it. But I appreciate it very much. One of the things was serving on the New York, Connecticut Bid Committee and being a representative at the 1990 World Cups in Italy. And that was an experience I could never have dreamed of. And Steve was also on that trip as well. And I wasn't sure I was going to share this, but I think it's kind of cute. It's hard to remember how mom and pop Connecticut was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s until the World Cup, 94. And something as simple as ticketing has changed so enormously. Today you go on your phone, you select what you want to see, a few clicks, and presto, your tickets are on your phone, and there's no hassle. Well, my first international game was 1989. It was a US-Guatemala World Cup qualifying match in New Britain, which held 10,000 people, and they added an additional 2,000 temporary seats. Sunil Gulati mentioned that particular Saturday, about 5 weeks or 6 weeks before the game, on a television show that tickets would be available by calling my home number. It was put up on the screen, and my son Bill was very quick to say, "Mom, that's our phone number. What are we going to do?" Well, we obviously took the phone off the hook because it was absolutely no peace. The phone started to ring immediately, but I had no tickets, and I didn't know where I was getting tickets from. Sunil just forgot to tell me that I had just volunteered to process 12,000 tickets out of my house. Not knowing that was an experience. The next day, some carloads of wonderful Guatemalans who didn't speak English descended upon my home looking for tickets. I didn't even get them for days after it, but they were there with address, phone number. They were all set. So it was obvious up to me that I was going to have to fulfill all these orders once they gave me the tickets about a week later. I had a pool table and a ping pong table in the basement, which was used for the distribution area, and Kay Borkland was part of that stuffing and assigning. It was quite an interesting experience. Think about how you get tickets today. But every Wednesday for about 5 weeks, a very minerally English-speaking Guatemalan mom and dad and their 4 kids would drive up our driveway, which is steep, in a shaky Volkswagen bus looking for tickets. And no matter how many times I told them I didn't have any, they weren't buying it, because on his first visit, my mom, who's living with us, let him come in and go to the basement. Voila, there were 12,000 tickets on the pool table. And I'm telling this man, I have no tickets. He thought he had paid dirt, but I tried to explain we didn't understand each other, except he could see, and I'm lying to him. He came every Wednesday, and he would come, 4 kids would come out, they'd sit on the deck, I would feed them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, milk and cookies. His wife nursed their newborn child. The father would try to convince me that I owed him tickets, but they kept hoping I would break down and sell him some tickets. So that's the old way of us fulfilling orders for international games. We've come a long way, guys. My involvement with soccer took so many side roles that would never have crossed my mind. The opportunities and privileges that I experienced are amazing. And love what you do and do what you love is a wonderful adage. And I have been blessed. I have had the advantage of doing just that. Being a wife to an incredible man, a mother of 2 great sons, grandparent to 2 super grandkids, and Taylor, my oldest, and also a great soccer player, is here this evening. I was given the additional opportunity of being involved in a sport that became a passion, and I would say quickly an obsession in a very positive way. And for those of you who I know, we've all felt the same. It has been an obsession, and without our families, who have been so wonderful and so supportive, we never would have been able to accomplish 10% of what we did, because you guys stood behind us all the way and supported it and enjoyed the sport as well. It has given so much to so many who have shared it and continuing to follow the foundations set by previous generations. and you continue to grow this story. So it has come from where I was at the grassroots to today, and it's just 1,000 miles away from where we were. We've come a long way in every aspect of soccer, and this Hall of Fame has grown exponentially over the past 25 years into one of the most prestigious state soccer halls, if not number one, which we're told very often. With our current leadership, we have a future of growth and a plethora of new ideas coming our way. Philip is just full of things that he's looking to bring to the table. We will continue to celebrate our heritage and future. Thank you all for this honor and the opportunity to have served as his chair. Thanks to my wonderful family and friends, and God bless you all.